Mr. Yule.
I just want to make sure I understand what I'm looking at here. Medicare will only, based on the 2009 information, we only paid at $435.87, and we charge $625. That's what we're doing right now.
Right.
Is that how I understand that? So but what are we being charged by the service provider, or is this the service that we're providing?
This is the service we're providing.
We're providing. So
This is only our billing. It's got nothing to do with the ALS billing.
Okay, so I guess I don't understand how we are losing money at this point. I'm a little confused on that.
Because when the insurance companies pay, you know, depending on the company and in the case of Medicare, they only pay a certain portion.
Right.
And then the supplemental insurance will only pay a certain portion.
Right.
So by raising the rate, we get more from the supplemental insurance carrier, and therefore making up for what Medicare is not paying.
So what you're saying is that the person who needs the service
in the best of
doesn't...
worlds, the insurance company, the supplemental insurance company is paying the difference.
Right.
So basically, we're raising the rate to get more from the supplemental insurance company for Medicare patients. Right? One, because we're taking a loss and they're only paying a certain amount based on what we're charging. It's a percentage kind of calculation, a formula. So the recommendation was what I would call somebody that's been in the business an awful long time, and this is all tied in with the ALS study group, what's going on to see how we can make this whole thing work. First recommendation that's come out of it made sense was to raise the rates. And we're not raising the rates to be out of market, we're raising the rates to be
within the market.
Within the market.
Mr. Chairman, I have a question in relation to the suggested billing for ALS at this particular point. We don't provide that service, and that's the outside vendor, and
Right.
they just bill. You know,
we get a percentage back. We get an amount back for each bill, currently.
For each bill, but they're billing at their rates, not at our rates. Is that correct?
Right.
They're billing at their rates. They're billing at their own rates, which I don't even know if we're aware as to what their rates are. And we're establishing a rate here for a service we don't provide.
Let me tell you how it comes into play.
What's that?
I can tell you how it comes into play. If the call goes out as an ALS call.
Oh, that piece of it, yes, I forgot about that.
The call comes into our department as an ALS call. They're the first ones to respond. They're not going to send action ambulance. They'll first respond. Our department will respond. Once they get there and assess the patient, if it doesn't call for ALS service, although the call came in as an ALS call, there's a possibility that we could bill as an ALS billing rate, even though it's not ultimately an ALS call. It turns into a BLS call because of the way the call came in. Potentially, it could be billed by the town of North Reading as an ALS call. So that's why the rate should be established for a North Reading ALS response, even though we don't provide the service. We're not certified.
Certified
Right.
to provide the service.
Right.
Yet we can still bill for it.
But there is
Potentially.
there is
It's an open
another
question.
step coming where
We
the
don't.
board...
Currently, we do not.
It was unclear as of our last meeting whether we do or we don't.
We have to...
Bill.
We have to... Oh, you mean bill, right,
Right.
yeah.
Right. My guess is that we don't currently. This may be something that we may be looking to do in the interim time period.
Right.
But we currently do not, because we don't have the certification, we never have, so we never have billed beyond what our certification level allows for.
That may be accurate, but I'm not 100% certain of that, based upon our last ALS meeting last week.
One of the things that we will be asking the board to do, not quite yet, is to actually apply for an application. And in the process, we can back out of it at any time, but that gets the things in motion, which I think then kicks off and allows us to do that billing, that other billing.
And that
the
all-
rate that we're really interested in raising at this point, because we're jumping ahead of where
Right.
we're coming back with a full recommendation, is the basic EMS rate.
Yeah, it appears as though we're putting the cart before the horse a little bit here, in anticipation of what the board may do.
Right.
With what's being presented to us this evening. I mean, that's part of what the confusion was in my mind, because here we are establishing a rate for a service that we don't provide, nor are we certified to provide. Reasonable explanation may be that there may be instances whereby, even though we don't provide the service, it's, the call came in that particular way, it didn't require it, because it came in that way, we allowed to do it. And that appears reasonable, but in my understanding, over the years, we've never.
Well, the way it was explained to us is that if somebody calls and they're saying they're having chest pain, for example, that's an ALS situation, so you respond to it. When you get there, you find out, somebody kicked a guy in the chest or something, and all of a sudden it's a different kind of call, right? The fire department is still can bill at the ALS
And they waive
rate.
off action at
Yeah.
that particular point, they
Right,
turn them around.
they waived it.
But in those situations where action comes in and takes over, they literally take
They
over, they take
bill.
over the billing and we get a portion of.
That's right.
But
That's correct.
now, my question is, what portion, do we get a portion of what our, posted rates are? Or
My
what they're
understanding
collecting?
was we just get a fixed rate per call, right?
Almost like a referral.
I guess you could, you could call it that,
Basically,
yeah.
it's more like a
Yeah,
referral fee rather than, it's not based upon.
It's not a
So Action
percentage
may be already charging these particular rates, and we're not getting,
And I'm not clear, we
I
don't,
believe it's more like a referral. So I think it's
Very
a flat.
small,
I think it's a flat.
very small percentage of whatever the billing that we receive.
And is it really of the total billing they receive, or is it of the posted rates that we have currently in the town of North Reading, which may be much less than what the market is bearing right now?
or it means
guess
that
that-
the percentage that they're paying back
No.
is smaller.
It's a flat rate, it's $138.
I was gonna say 133.
138 plus 6 cents a mile. So the amount is counted.
And they're billing for mileage much larger.
Consistent with what you see here in the recommendation,
Yeah.
which is $38.
But do we know that as a matter of fact? I mean, I would assume so, because they're for-profit.
I don't know what their rate is, what I'm saying is I'm presuming that their rate is significantly higher than.
May I ask, how does this impact the recipient of the services, raising these rates? I had the feeling that it doesn't, because the idea is to get the...
Well, it gets to the point where then we've reimbursed, let's say it's a Medicare, right? We're being reimbursed for Medicare plus the supplemental insurance, and there's something left for the patient. And the bill typically goes to the patient.
Right.
And then we get to the issue of what do? Some communities don't bill the patient at all for the balance.
But the-
Others,
but our
like us,
policy,
bill
Jeff,
the patient, and then, per our policy, we write off hardship cases.
Well, we've been
had
doing that, yeah.
debate.
But our
Right.
policy also addresses the situation whereby the recipient of the services are obligated to forward it to their insurance carrier if they have insurance, and if they don't, they become obligated for the entire balance. Unless they just
To us,
provide-
to the town at
Yeah,
that point.
So, those people, we don't forgive the debt. For the rest of them, okay, the Medicare covers this portion, they bill the supplemental insurance carrier, we get what we get, and then. based
Oh,
on
okay.
hardship,
So as long as they go through the process and submit it to the supplemental insurance, we accept what the supplemental insurance payment is without, and not hold the
No,
recipient
No,
harmless.
we do bill, we do bill
We
them
do
for the
bill.
difference,
We bill
but
for the
if there's a
difference.
hardship case, then the town administrator has the authority.
The other suggestion that came out of this meeting that we had was that we implement a humane collection practice. If you do increase these rates, then you should give more due consideration to an individual. If Medicare pays, supplemental insurance pays, whatever the balance is, humane practice would suggest that the town should write it off, and that may be something that we should
Well, that's a
adopt.
policy that we're gonna have to decide on,
Right.
Just-
Joe-
but not tonight.
You have
Judge,
the
quick
framework.
question if I
Yes,
could.
Mr. Vino.
On page number 2, under this, this is why I haven't had any time to read the whole thing yet. Under this billing structure, is this something we'd be doing new? It would have to be, because here it says, all patients with Medicare, Medicaid, and Medicare will not be charged more than what is allowed by Medicare and Medicaid. So is
That's
it?
all they have.
Oh, that's not
If
what this
that's all they
says.
have.
Okay, that's not
But-
what this
but
says. That's my
The policy
problem.
goes on to say that if they have supplemental insurance, it's their obligation to file with
Yeah.
the insurance carrier to get whatever the town can maximize. Otherwise, they're responsible for the difference.
Okay.
We apologize, we've wrestled with this thing.
I need more time on this. I do.
Okay, any other questions right now about the ambulance rate? And we'll put it on the agenda for our next meeting? Is that okay with everybody?
Yeah.
You'll ask what, the chief
We
to
would
be here?
also need to look at is the deductible policy.
Yes.
Greg, the policy you attached, is that the current policy or?
No, that
another
would be the
policy?
proposed policy.
This is the new one
Takes
attached.
into account the
This is new, okay.
So, would you put in the packet the current policy too?
Yeah.
That way. Okay, let's go back to,
Mr. Chair, do you wish to have this on our next meeting or the meeting following? Because we don't think we don't have a full board on the next meeting.
that's right, I'm not gonna be here.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Do-
It's up to the board.
Push it out 2 meetings. I'd like to have you here.
I would,
Okay. You hear that, Greg? It'll be the first meeting in March. Not counting the, budget meeting, the Saturday budget meeting. Not counting. Okay, we have, 7:30, we're gonna have a hearing on the sale of parcel of town-owned land, 7:30 in room 14. The Board of Selectmen shall be considering for sale the following parcel of town-owned land on Monday, February 1st, 2010, 7:30 in room 14 of Town Hall, 235 North Street, North Reading, Mass. Any parties interested in the potential sale and subsequent private ownership of these parcels should plan on attending, and it's map 66, parcel 12, square footage, 5,000 square foot on 6 Brooks Road. This has been advertised, Greg? Okay. Mr. Balakonis.
Now, this is the first step in the board's policy for disclosing surplus and property. It requires a public meeting, us to advertise, we've done that. As part of that process, administration is required to provide notice of the proposed sale to the various departments, boards, and committees, and evidence of that, in a memo dated January 20, 2010, which is the first distribution to the various boards and committees. We heard back from several of them indicating that they were not interested in property, and others we did not receive a response. However, in no instance did we receive a response indicating an affirmative interest in the property. So at this point, to proceed further, the board needs to determine whether you wish to sell the property, and if you do, what the minimum asking price and any conditions that you may wish to place upon that sale would be. And I do have a revision to the revision in the motion, because in looking at it, I noted that, Selectman O'Leary actually noted that it was not as extensive with the potential selections that we normally have. So I would pin these down to review, stuff and move, if the board votes, this would be the revised motion. Just a note, let's see, number 4 has an asterisk next to it. At your earlier meeting, the board had indicated that if you wish that we would consult with the attorney representing one of the potential buyers on the property for language that would accommodate the party that expressed an interest in the sale. That's what you received, that's what we received back and inserted in the motion. That's number 4. The other items are more the standard flavor that the board has with any landscaping.
There were a couple of things that came to mind when I looked at this. One was